So the other week I put out a video with triple hoopoe bird and blowfish, and I think I mentioned in that commentary that I had been trying to do something else, and I was specifically going for that and ended up getting that triple hoopoe run instead. So this is the run that I was going for, and it was all recorded in the same session. We don't have any of the pets I'm looking for on turn 5, except we do have the seagull frozen. Now the main premise was to have hoopoe bird and then a mushroom, and then the seagull is going to keep giving mushroom to the hoopoe over and over, and it's going to whittle down the opposing team. So in order to kind of beef that up and make it strong enough that it could actually win, we're also going to need hedgehog and toad, and of course the blowfish as well. So I mean, hedgehog plus blowfish is as old as time. You'll have seen it a million times in pack 1. And of course toad doesn't exist in pack 1, but in customs that's probably the more common variant that you'll see, where it's toad at the back and then 4 hedgehogs, maybe a blowfish, although a lot of the time people just play hedgehog for some reason. So what I wanted was the hedgehog is going to go at the front. It's going to hit all the opposing units and then give weakness to as many as possible based on the toad's level. And then the hoopoe will be second with the mushroom, the seagull in the middle, and then that'll mean that the hoopoe is going to hit units that have already been weakened, and then it's going to loop with the mushroom. So it's kind of like hedgehog blowfish or toad hedgehog, except for the fact that after the first volley your own team doesn't get hit anymore. And it's actually pretty good, and you'll see that fairly shortly. I think here we're going to lose just... Oh no, we're going to... See what I mean? It works perfectly for draws. We've got the hoopoe at the back, obviously, at the moment, while I'm waiting for everything else to fall into place. So I'm just going to give up on the level 2 beta here. And it's important that the seagull has high stats, because we can't have it being sniped and then losing the mushroom loop. I mean, that's the entire point of the combo. So I'm going to bring in a second hoopoe now. And we don't even have toad yet. So yeah, we're just going to cook up the blowfish a little bit more in the shop. Now, one of the other benefits of having the blowfish, of course, if you're having the hedgehog only attack once at the front, we can't give mushroom to the hedgehog, because then the seagull will just keep looping the hedgehog instead. And you get a quick glance at the pack there. I think maybe I was checking to make sure toad was in. But if we put hedgehog at the front, then it does mean that the blowfish is only going to trigger once from our own team, because the hoopoe is not going to hit it. However, in the current meta in customs, that doesn't really matter very much at all. There are so many opposing teams that have snipes, especially like volume of snipes with woodpecker, with lynx, and there are plenty of other things that we'll probably run into a bit later on. So we've got the toad now. It only has 3 health, which is a bit unfortunate. However, toad is slightly different now. It's even better than it used to be. Although you can see here we're freezing lemon. Lemon no longer protects an infinite number of times. It's only 2 hits. So it's not, 4 hedgehogs plus toad with lemon. You just don't really see that very often anymore. So yeah, toad will now still give weakness if it faints. So if an opposing pet was hurt and then the toad has the sort of band-aid icon on it, it will still apply the weakness. That also means that toad can give weakness with its own attack, which used to be impossible. So having the low health isn't necessarily the worst thing, as long as we manage to hurt one of the opposing pets at the same time as the toad faints. I'm not sure how often that comes up in this particular run, but I played a huge number of games of this. Not because it was difficult to get a win, but mainly because it was just really fun. It's such a unusual, or at the time it was very unusual. I think we're seeing a lot more hoopoe bird players now that the patch has been out for a little while. So I'm still hanging on to the dromedary here. I'm trying to get the blowfish up to a better stat line so that it's more likely to survive. But if we don't start drawing more games, we're going to kind of run out of time to get the mushroom setup going. We also want a higher level hoopoe bird. So I think here I'm going to mushroom the seagull first. Normally, you would mushroom the seagull first so that you could actually get free mushrooms onto your other units, but here our lineup is locked, so we actually have to find another mushroom for the Hoopoe. And because we don't have the mushroom on the Hoopoe, I'm just putting it up front to begin with. Maybe it would actually still be better to put the hedgehog first, because then we can weaken stuff for the Hoopoe. And maybe I'll change that after this turn. But here it's going to be another tie, and you'll definitely, if you try this yourself, you'll see how frequently you end up tying. It's pretty common, and I guess that's not surprising. It's it's a low health lineup. Now I do have pita bread in here as well, so that means that the hedgehog can trigger the pita bread, boost up the blowfish's health, and that will potentially result in more return fire snipes. Now you can see here I was very briefly tempted to put the mushroom on the hedgehog. Don't do it. Okay, I did do it. And maybe I realize that that's a mistake, and I'm going to change it after this. But here's a perfect type of opponent, the scaling team that doesn't have any equipment. So we're going to deal a lot of damage with the respawning the hedgehog, although we actually only have the level 2 seagull here. I can't remember if I win this or not. I guess we are going to win, because we're just going to whittle them down. Yep. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but all you dedicated scaling players, and there's so many, you really need to have equipment. You can't just be playing husky every game. You're going to get beaten by teams that do this kind of damage. So here's another of the common type of teams that I was talking about. You can see there the seagull gets immediately killed by the skunk. One of the reasons why it's probably better not to have the seagull having the highest health, but you can't protect against everything. And actually here we respawn with the Hoopoe, and we get the 1 HP win. So I think, am I just going to play this with the hedgehog at the front with a 1-up? I feel like the entire point was to get the Hoopoe 1-up. And we get matched with this lionfish team. It is probably one of the single most common opponents that you'll see is monkey at the back, lionfish at the front. It's only level 1 lionfish though. And one of the things that you'll realize about blowfish now is that it is quite a good counter to lionfish, especially the lower health ones, the lower level ones. And we end up getting the win there. Now that one wasn't quite right because I did have the hedgehog with the 1-up. It was supposed to be hedgehog without the 1-up. Now maybe maybe I'm commentating over the wrong video, but there's going to be a whole load more clips at the end. And here is another variant, and this is one where I don't get the seagull. So instead we're going to go with Wolverine, and I've got the Hoopoe in second position now. And again, here's lionfish monkey. Although I guess they've given up on scaling the lionfish because they're maxed out on 50 attack. And we're actually going to end up killing almost their entire team there. And it's just the lionfish left. And then, of course, it kills off the toad. Now, if the old lemon did exist, I think it's more likely that you can survive a pet like lionfish. But sadly, it does not. I guess it depends which way you look at it. In some ways it's better that it was taken away, but in others it's quite frustrating. So here's a team that wipes the front line with the woodpecker tiger combo. Of course, again, it's a lionfish team, and we delete them all for a second time, and again the lionfish fires back for the draw. And I'm just freezing the anglers here because I think this was the patch wasn't out that long. I was still vainly hoping for the frozen anglers to result in a sloth steal. I'm still waiting for that to happen in customs. Unfortunately, here's a team where they completely delete the lineup at the start. And the hedgehog's not going to be able to do anything about that. There isn't really much you can do about leopard. It's just going to deal too much damage to your team. I'm going to replace the garlic with the lemon. I don't know if that's more a reflex than an actual upgrade, because we do have the 1-up hedgehog here, but I suppose it's only going to be one respawn from the hedgehog because we don't have seagull, so lemon maybe is a bit better. Again, here's, I don't know if this is the same opponent or not, but it's the same thing with the chameleon plus foam sword. And what's actually going to happen is the foam sword is going to keep hitting the blowfish, and it's just going to fire back multiple times and wipe the rest of their team, which is one of the most satisfying things you can do in the current version of the game. One up on the Hoopoe now, definitely better than the Pineapple, because we're going to have applied weakness to the opponents as well. Level 2 Toad, it hits 4 opponents with weakness, and usually that's enough, especially since the hedgehog can kill something like the monkey here. And again, it's lionfish, tiger, plus monkey at the back. Funny name though, Super Colliding Super Pets. That must be quite old, because I don't think you're allowed spaces anymore. But it's a draw, and we live to fight another day. It is turn 21. I buy the lettuce for 1/1 buff on the Wolverine. And then we get matched with the opposing hedgehog Blowfish. Now, I guess that's not surprising given that it's turn 21. They do have the cat, although there's a lot of units on the team that have very, very low health, despite having the level 3 cat. And it's a full delete and another draw. So you can definitely end up in the sort of draw purgatory with this this build. And we're going to take another level up on the Toad, because that means we can guarantee their entire team gets hit with weakness. And we're going to make another equipment pivot, are we? Am I going to change my mind? Yeah, pita bread and pineapple were both possibilities there. And it's another leopard team, another wipe on the front set of units. We weaken everything. And I think the Hoopoe plus Blowfish plus hedgehog damage is actually going to end up killing that team. So we did get our revenge on the level 3 leopards in the end. Now here's a whole bunch of other clips. This is more like what I was trying to go for. You can see I had the hedgehog at the front with skewer, which is also nice. But in this particular one, the seagull doesn't have the mushroom yet. However, you can see what happens here with the Hoopoe ends up actually killing their backline jellyfish. So another satisfying win against the meta team. And then we're going to keep on looking for the mushroom. Maybe I should have actually just rolled down for the mushroom there. Again, we've got the squad of frozen anglerfish. And then this team here, this is kind of funny, the caterpillar ends up lowering its own stats there, I think, copying one of our low health units. But you can see here, if I had the mushroom, this would have actually been very, very easy win. But with no mushroom, they end up having 2 units that survive on 2 HP. So here's one with Hoopoe at the front with mushroom. And we may actually see some loops here with the seagull. It is level 3 seagull, but it's only level 1 Hoopoe, which is a little bit unfortunate. And of course, that is one of the issues with builds like this. You're trying to get 5 specific units, and then also trying to have them all at high level, and then also having specific equipment. And trying to get all of that together before you either win or end up in the sort of endless drawing mode. It's kind of frustrating at times, although I wasn't really bothered. This was a lot of fun trying to do this. Another monkey lionfish team. I don't know how they've only got level 1.5 lionfish here on turn 16, but it is going to mean that they can't kill the blowfish, and it fires back and does some more damage. There's another trigger from the lionfish, and we end up killing the pteranodon, and we end up winning. If they had the level 2 lionfish there, I think we were done for. Monkey plus lionfish, another original build here. And this time they've finished their first level 3 lionfish and they're moving on to the next one. They also have the leech at the back, which presumably was leech camel. So it's like all the scumbag tactics in one build. So everything gets weakened. The blowfish and the hedgehog are going to kill off the remainder of their team. The lionfish fires back. However, we do get the last laugh with the 1-up on the seagull.